Namaskar and welcome to Curries with Bumbi. Today I will be showing you how to make bhuna meat, where bhuna means to fry the meat with spices. You can use lamb or goat for this recipe. Blend the jar out because we need to make a ginger garlic paste. Ginger goes in, followed by garlic and 1 green chilli, which is totally optional. Add little water and blend it to a smooth paste. I add about 1/3 of a cup of water. The ingredient proportions will be given in detail in the description box below the video. Heat 4 tablespoons of oil in a heavy bottomed pot. I added a dry bay leaf and 2 black cardamoms. Black cardamoms give a smoky flavor to the meat, but if you do not get it, you can use 6 green cardamoms instead. Then a good amount of sliced onions go in along with half a teaspoon of salt. Fry the onions on medium to high heat. You do not need to brown the onions for this recipe, and it really makes me very happy when a recipe tells me not to brown onions. How about you? Let me know in the comment section. Now I prefer using red onions whenever I cook mutton or lamb. In India, goat meat is known as mutton. When the onions look pale and soft like this, add the pureed ginger garlic chili paste. Give a brief stir and then the meat goes in. I have used lamb, but you can also use mutton. I like using meat with bones. Let me tell you a small tip. I apply about 2 heaped tablespoons of yogurt to the lamb as soon as I bring it home after buying. Then I freeze it along with the yogurt. The day I want to cook, I thaw the meat, then rinse it well with warm water. The yogurt does 2 things here. 1. It takes care of that smell of lamb. Now, if you like that smell, you do not need to apply yogurt before freezing. And number 2, the yogurt also tenderizes the meat. But remember to rinse out that yogurt before cooking. Stir the meat on high heat till all the water that is released dries off. Only then your curry will be flavorful. Once you see all that released water gone, it is spice time. A tablespoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder. You can also use sweet paprika if you want to avoid that heat. A teaspoon of turmeric powder and a tablespoon of ground coriander, that is dhania powder, and also a teaspoon of sugar. Now that little bit of sugar won't turn the dish into a dessert, but it is used to balance the flavors, and also you get a nice color to the gravy. Fry the meat with the spice powders for about 2 minutes. Then add just a splash of hot water. Again stir till it gives a dry kind of look. Then again add a splash of hot water and repeat the process for a couple of times. You need to do this for about 10 to 15 minutes, and this is known as bhuna, means you're frying the meat with spices and making it aromatic. After a good bhunoing for 15 minutes, I added a heaped teaspoon of salt. Now, I always like using a pressure cooker whenever I cook lamb or mutton because we like our meat to be very tender. But my friends, that doesn't mean that we are all toothless, but we like the meat to be melting in our mouth soft. Okay, you can cook it in a regular pot on a low heat. Give it a stir from time to time, and if you see the water has dried up but the meat hasn't turned soft, then again add a little water. Lamb or mutton bhuna is more on the dry side, but I add about a cup of hot water as my family prefers a little bit of gravy. Pressure cook it for 30 minutes if using a regular pressure cooker, or 35 minutes if using an instant pot. If not using a pressure cooker, it may take nearly 2 hours for the meat to get tender. In the meantime, let's prep the yogurt. I've taken plain unflavored yogurt. Take out the yogurt from the refrigerator at least 30 minutes before using it, or else it may split when added to the hot curry. I added 2 teaspoons of my homemade shahi garam masala. I will leave the link to that video in the description box. I also added 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper powder. My friend, you can also use store-bought garam masala powder, but I would always recommend making garam masala powder at home. It is so much better. Whisk the yogurt very well to get a smooth consistency, and this will also prevent the yogurt from splitting. Another thing that I want to mention is that I always use whole milk plain unflavored yogurt. Low-fat milk yogurt can sometimes split when added to the hot curry. Once pressure cooking is done, switch off the heat, Allow all the pressure to be released naturally and only then open the lid of your cooker. Remove the bay leaf and black cardamoms at this point because you do not want to face a whole spice situation at the table. Switch your stove back on medium, add the yogurt and keep mixing continuously until the yogurt gets well mixed. Do a taste test and adjust the seasonings if required. The meat has become buttery soft and I felt I could handle a little more of chili heat, so I added half a teaspoon more of Kashmiri chili powder. Finally, I added these green and red peppers which have zero heat in them. You can leave them out or you can also add a little bit of chopped green and red bell peppers. This step is totally optional, but I love adding them because I always love to see those colors. As you can see, it doesn't have much gravy, just enough to coat the meat. You can have this with naan, roti, paratha or hot steamed rice or maybe sweet yellow pulao, which is also in my channel. As with any lamb or mutton curry, the flavors get better and better the next day. That's why I make a large batch because I cannot wait for the next day to enjoy this deliciousness. But I will be having enough leftovers to enjoy the next day as well if I make a large quantity. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video and do leave a comment as I love reading all your comments. Bye bye.